What's up, people, and welcome back. Right, so today is a day, it's going to be a good day. I was feeling a bit shit yesterday, but alrighty. Right, so booster boys outside. We made space for this because I've got to get this engine out today. But what I'm doing this morning is I've got the new engine out, dry sump tank. Need to find position because I've got price engineering coming up. And we're going to sort this front radiator out, get all his measurements he wants. And he's going to take that, but he's also taking my dry sump tank for me to weld some nice snazzy brackets on. Looking at, I've never done a dry sump tank, right? Or a dry sump system. And looking at this, we have the scavenge pump goes to the top of the tank. And the one on the other side goes to the bottom. Now, it's very lucky I read this, because I always thought the scavenge pump sucked out the tank and in the engine. But it doesn't. It sucks basically through the engine. So it's coming out the tank, in there, through the engine, through the pump, and then back in the tank. So it was really lucky that I looked at that, because I didn't really know. So this is the whole thing, a nice lovely engine. So that has to go to the bottom of the tank. Now the instructions say that line needs to be as short as possible. Now that fitting sits directly behind this tube. So I might have to change that fitting for a direct 90. Now I was going to have this tank this side, right? Because I thought that had to go to the pump, which sits there, but it doesn't. It goes to the other side. So what I'm having to do, I think I might have to put that tank this side, so I can run a pipe from there, and it will come tank into that side, and then one from the top over the engine down to the pump, or behind, down and back up. So I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. The issue I have is this fits in here, but I suppose I can put a 90 straight out of there. But we've also got to have clearance for suspension. Do you know what I mean? So they say that needs to be level with the pickup, because if the engine's left running a certain time, it can drain off into the engine. So we can't have that anyway, unless I put it inside the car, which then it will sit slightly lower. But if I put this tank in the car, it has to be fully enclosed in an aluminium casing. So if I put it this side, I guess I could run the line, because it's not having an oil cooler on. I could run the line through here, through that spot there, right, which will then come around this bend, around this bend onto the fitting. So it'll come across, up through, underneath the oil filter to the tank. But it's quite long. But I know people who've got these dry sump tanks in the boot of their car and their engine's up the front. So theoretically, it should be okay. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's got 5 litres of oil in that tank, it says. So the weight of that oil alone is going to be pushing it down the line. Yeah, I think it's going to go there. So it will go here. So, and then I can come straight off here. It'll be a little bit higher than it is because we've got to allow for suspension travel. Only about there though. Then I'll come out of here with a 90 down straight onto the bottom of the scavenge pump. And then that will pump the oil back to the top of the tank. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. This goes to the breather. I have got a tank. This is his Mokel breather tank. That has got to go to there. I'm going to run this to there, and that's coming off, and it'll go to there. So this will probably end up, it's got to be somewhere out of the way, so if it overflows, it's not going to overflow straight onto the engine. But it's got to be higher than the tank. Otherwise, technically, it could bleed off into this. So it might end up going, to be fair, it could go directly above the tank. So yeah, this is what I'm scrubbing up at the minute before Mike gets here. All he's going to do is going to put some half moon mounts on the back of the tank. And one's going to mount here, and one will mount to this. So when he gets here, we can knock up some dimensions for him. Right, so that's what we've done first. So I went to Mate's bin, and we've measured that up, and he's took the tank and the radiator. We'll get this engine out, shall we? And we'll get that engine in. That way, then I've got to start measuring up, because I need to measure up for the fittings for the Dash 12. Yeah, apart from that, cooking on gas. Cooking on gas, people. Right, let's get some work done, shall we? Right, so that's out. I've got to say, it's not the easiest. What I was trying to work out is the best way of doing it without risking scratching any of all this custom paintwork. So that's painted, all this side's painted. So it's more of...
I didn't catch that. Could you try again?
Shut up, watch. Getting this one in without scratching it, more than getting that one out without scratching it. But I think that's the best route, in through the top, turn, and in that way. Wasn't exactly the smoothest, was it? Well, first of all, I'm going to clean all this anyway. We need to get all this clean. There's tape and stuff on there, I don't know what that is. I'll give it all a clean up. So we can see where we are. And then we'll see whether I want to get this engine in my own. Right, so I think, shall we? Price Engineering's bin. Radiator's gone. He's doing some work to the oil tank for me. And he's making a header tank for me. And I've got to send in some other bits once I've made them. So what we've got to do is, on one of my previous videos for my car, we made a custom outlet for this, for a Dash 16. So I've got to make another one for this, but we need it slightly longer, because we've got to have a fitting coming out the side to go to the header tank, and we've got to have a bleed off where mine didn't need it, because it's using the mini radiator and it's level. So the mini radiator acts as its overflow, well, its header tank. Alright, see what I want to do, whether I want to put this in on my own or get some assistance. Or I could just put some blankets through, I suppose. What do you think, people? Let's have a clean up first. down. It's in the hole. So, as you saw, I just lifted it in by myself. They're not heavy. But we have an issue that I did foresee. I saw this happening. Well, the one thing I didn't see happening was these bars that go through, they have slightly opened that hole up. So, it won't go through. So I've had to use one of the bolts, the original bolts off my turbo engine for now, and I'll have to get a replacement. But, as you can see, that isn't lined up. Now I did foresee this, and we're not lined up at the bottom either. Now, how did I know this was going to happen? Because on the SBD dry sump, there is those. One on the left is a turbo return, one on the right is a filter. A filter you do have to change. So now we have an issue. It doesn't technically fit. Don't forget, they can't just clear, there needs to be clearance. Because you don't want the resonation going through your aluminium sump. So, from this we can determine either you've got to modify all this black section or machine those off. But as you can see, they're not exactly the deepest things in the world. So what I'm going to have to do is get the spirit level underneath the sump and see if we are actually level. By the looks of it, it does look to me like we are a bit low at the back. So, what I might have to do is cut these bloody tabs off. And there's two at the bottom. Put new ones on. Just slightly swing the engine back a little bit. You know what I mean? It's only got a good, very small amount. Probably 5mm. We've got enough clearance behind. See? So we should be okay. I mean, we're a little bit close. Oops, sorry. A bit closer there. You can't see, can you? Well, here, basically. Well, we've got 5mm in here. So, oh, the engine's in. Doesn't face what it's in. Right, I'm gonna leave that video there because I'm gonna have to have a chat with the chap. Because it means getting that back end repowder coated as well. Right. Thanks for watching me put this engine in, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.